Oh, sorry, my dude. So I posted a little walk cycle on Twitter the other day at not too tet. It'll be on the screen. Asked me, hey, if it's not too much to ask, could you share some simply short snippets of the making of this? It's coming along nicely though. Thumbs up. So what he specifically wanted to see is some sketches and screenshots of the software and the keyframes. But I figured it's probably easier if I just make a little video where I scroll through the document to see how I set up like a simple walk cycle. So let's get to it. Okay, so this kind of walk cycle doesn't work with everything. Your design needs to kind of be set up for it. Both these characters, their bodies are hiding their hips. So that really helps with this kind of simple walk cycle. So we have this character. It's just 24 frames, a layer for his arm, a layer for both his legs, a layer for his body, the other arm, and his head. So I started off with this illustration I already made of the character. That already helps a lot. A good illustration that really gets you a long way already. And then I just kind of traced the head in, let me find the position. This position, you can see I moved it around a little bit. And then in the symbol of the head, I have this small 12 frame loop where you can see his eyes are bouncing on a different layer and his mouth is closed here and open there. So it's really just like two basic positions. All I did was change like the mustache type thing a little bit here. So it bounces a little bit more and the hair over there. So it bounces a little bit more. So it really adds to the bounce. Oh, you can see that I also moved the cheek line a little bit. Then the body is, in this case of this character, is just one symbol that I squashed a little bit on the down positions. So both legs are the exact same. All I did was start this leg at the frame 1 and this leg at frame 13. So you can see that these legs are just a loop, a simple loop. So you have the both, in a walk cycle, you have your extreme positions and your passing positions and the in-betweens, right? So what I do is I start off with the one extreme position on frame 1 and the one that's on frame 13. So those are going to be the first frames of the walk cycle. And then I squash in my pass position. Usually that's where the leg is up the farthest. But for some reason, for these characters, I just decided to do it a little bit bent because I thought it looked nice. And that's kind of how I started. And then the rest of the in-betweens and stuff, I like it when, after the extreme, when the foot really touches the ground. I just think that looks nice. So I really want to get that in there as well. And there are a couple of things that just make it a little, like when the knee bends before it goes to the next. This is the other pass position, right, where the knee is the most up from the ground. I just like that little bend. So there's a little in between there, but not much. And then, so what I did was I animated the legs first, and then I put the position of the body on top of that, like so. Boop, boop, it goes with the legs. And then I changed the position of the head to more or less go with the body. Isn't like exact, right? When he squashes, his chin really goes super far down and then it goes up and then the body catches up a little bit. So the head kind of, in this case, leads and goes more extreme than his body. I just think that looks more interesting and it makes the whole walk cycle a little bit more dynamic. So for the arms, the way I did the arms initially was I just did a motion tween, or plastic tween, I guess. And then I used the easing option here. I probably just did something lazy like this, where just use a preset of easing and then it already looks. I change it to a frame by frame. And then I kind of see if it needs to go with the body a little bit. So then I modify it a little bit. So I use the weaning option to get me the basic movement, right? And then I just fine tune it afterwards myself. And I do the same with the other hand. The fun thing is because I just duplicated when I drew it. So when if I go into the symbol, you can see that I have both arms in the same symbol. All I did was make sure that when the symbol is selected, I have the looping option to play single frame for the graphic. So you can see for the other character, it's the same idea, illustration. And I did the legs. As you can see in this one a little bit more clearly, the reason the passing position isn't a fully extended leg is because I just traced the leg that I already had, and then I modified it to these other ones, but with as little as possible. So yeah, start with the most extreme poses that you really know you need. And then I just kind of add the least possible. These arms are exactly the same. I did the same thing here. I just tweened it and then fine-tuned it a little bit. Just bounces a little bit. I ungrouped it for this, where it really deforms. I ungrouped it and used the distort to just make it go a little bit like this, right? You can see it kind of feels like it's being dragged down, like plunged, plop, boing. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 variations. So the base layer here, I had to change this a little bit to mess around with the cap a little bit. Maybe I organized that poorly. Who knows? This thingy, it's just the same drawing every time. I just made it sure that it followed the general movement. So the same goes for I separated this. It just bounces a little bit. In this position, there's a little bit of adjustment to the drawing, but not much. The eyes just kind of wobble. It looks really dumb this way, but it works pretty well. These thingies, I don't know, these ropes, I should have put those in the other symbol, but I'm too lazy to fix it.